Hey everybody, how's it going? We're having a good morning. So, one of the things I think that's really difficult when you have a mood disorder is trying to explain it to other people that don't, whether it's friends or family members or whatever the case is, even doctors. There's such an intangible quality and aspect to our illness that I think makes it hard to articulate because it's a feeling. And let's be honest, for a lot of people, trying to express their feelings is difficult, let alone if you've got a disorder as a part of it. So I think it can obviously be misinterpreted as, just someone that's being difficult, And there's obviously a fine line. Like I've said before, there's accountability for our actions. But at the same time, I think it's, for me, I guess what I've ended up doing is trying to explain it in such a way that the emotions that I feel are an amplification. They're a much, much, much greater in level of intensity. For example, if someone is anxious, they might cycle through it 10, 20 times. We may cycle through it hundreds of times, if not thousands of times. So it's just like water dripping on your forehead. It doesn't go away. So that's one example I've used. The other is, I think that try to imagine every sort of emotional, distraught sort of experience you can think of: death, divorce, uh, financial difficulties, and you kind of wrap that in one. And that's those kinds of intense emotions that I want to experience. It's kind of like a trifecta. You like experience it all at once when you have depression. So I think that the when I've been able to explain it as sort of a amplification or just a much, much, much greater level of intensity than say a quote unquote normal person would feel, I've had some success in trying to explain this to others. But nevertheless, it's still very difficult. I've talked about my ADHD as being stuck, meaning I'm just literally in a grind and I cannot get anything done, and I'm literally sort of paralyzed, and I can't focus on anything. Sometimes my anxiety fuels that too. Um, and again, even when I explain some of that stuff, it's still hard for people to necessarily understand. Um, but I think we just need to continue to look at just the aspects of our illness and how, these feelings are real and they happen. They're part of our illness and our disorder. But, they're intense. And I think that's part of it is the part of the disorder is that we're experiencing things at a much greater intensity level that is exhausting. It is very, very hard on ourselves. And, I think once people realize that that's not a degree of weakness, it's that, hey, you know what? We deal with stuff, a lot of time. I mean, it's very common, or I should say it's frequent that we deal with this stuff. And for someone that maybe experiences regular anxiety, or even somebody that's, let's say, on a mania where they're like grinding through some stuff, it's just not the same. It's just not as intense. So for what it's worth, that's what I've done. Amplification, level of intensity, exponentially more than say another person would have that doesn't have a disorder. So if you've got any other suggestions, please post this on the blog, as I'd love to have people share with others as far as any tips or advice they might have. Thanks, everybody. God bless.